It's an exciting Monday afternoon. We are here once again to talk about what is happening in this great continent of ours. Yes, Africa. The program Africa Discourse. I am Wilson Omasha. Today is all about kidnapping trends in Africa, the impact in the continent. We'll take a look at it from the security perspective, economic perspective, political perspective. You just name it, from all angles that has been affecting the continent. And of course, Nigeria is part of Africa. We can't talk about it without bringing our own country into this particular talk. In Africa, the country that ranked the highest way back, talking about 3 years ago, used to be South Africa, where they had this issue of kidnapping. Yes, it was like rampant in South Africa, and of course, the law enforcement agents, they went into action, and right now they're able to almost get a hang of the situation. And when it gets straight down to Sudan, it was a case of kidnapping children and selling them. You get to hear about child military force, child soldier, child army. Yeah, and that was how the children have been kidnapped, and they'll be trained to do one or two things that will be detrimental to the health of the nation, form of child militia. If you go also to some other countries like Ivory Coast, like Mali, Senegal, Niger Republic, yes, Niger, Cameroon also, they're not left out in all of this. It's all about kidnapping trend, and of course that insinuation, or will I say that thought, that is always at the back of the mind of many persons trying to come into this continent, Africa. How does it affect you and I? With me here in the studio, I have an entrepreneur, a politician, an author of so many books, and of course one-time governorship aspirants and candidates to the situation, Bishop Akalame. Bishop, welcome to Africa Discourse.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your coming.
Good afternoon, viewers.
All right. So very close to Bishop is a vibrant youth, a clergyman, an entrepreneur. Join me to welcome Salvation Anambra. Hope I got that name correctly, Salvation. Welcome to Africa Discourse.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bishop, Africa seems to be in the eye of the storm right now. All attention zooming into Africa when we talk about kidnapping in Honduras, as Nigeria is not spared in this news. All right, we have Sudan, we have South Africa, we have Senegal, we have Cameroon, Niger Republic, you just name it. But it's like Nigeria is beginning to almost break the record. We'll talk about kidnapping in this great continent of Africa. Bishop, what are your views on this?
Well, we say thank you very much. Kidnapping has become a global problem today. It's not just peculiar to Africa. Even in the United States of America, kidnapping is going on there. In fact, there was even a research that was made available that even in Mexico in 2012, that about 105,000 cases of kidnaps recorded. And when they take it down to 2013, it was almost about 131 in Mexico. In America, you see where children are being kidnapped. You see, this thing is it's a global threat now. Now the issue is that when we are discussing kidnapping, which has to do with the adoption and capturing of people, typically for ransom, we must be able to address what are the causes. Yes, we must be able to address the causes. When we establish the causes, they will now know how to take it from there. We discovered that what is happening in Nigeria today, even in other countries in Africa, like you have said, the South Africa, Mali, and the Sudan, what are those causes? What are those factors responsible for this threat, kidnapping? Why has people see kidnapping as something they have to go into? We discovered that a lot of people are greedy. Greed is one of these. One of the causes. Greed is one of the causes. Politics is another cause of kidnapping. We will take it further. Poverty is another cause. Unemployment is another cause. Oh, wow. Illiteracy is another cause. Religion is another cause. And so many factors. But I can limit you to.
All right, not to worry. I want to talk about picking on the causes without diversifying into some of these factors you raised. Now is getting is getting worrisome. If you take a look at Africa as a continent, where you get to hear, reports of kidnapping here and there. You go to BBC, CNN, our sister station. You get to Asia TV, Indian TV. Zooming in Africa, you get to hear hundreds kidnapped. How do you feel about this, Salvation?
My co-discussant here even mentioned far back, but it's even, I even have, when you go to the Bible and Quran even, you will see kidnapping there. The case of Joseph is a kidnapping case. He was forced from his father. That's child kidnapping. He was taken to a far place and put in slavery. So I believe we must lay the major basic and the foundation about that kidnapping. This is a very serious issue, and it's one of the worst crimes to be committed against another person. I liken kidnapping like terrorism, because the evil that go with the person that is kidnapped, we are talking of rape here. For in the case of women, this constant rape. I've seen victims that after they were kidnapped, they were released, they committed suicide, because the life after they were kidnapped. You just imagine a woman. I met a young boy who the mother was kidnapped. This woman stayed with these kidnappers for months, and she said on a daily basis, not less than 10 men raped her. We are talking of 10 months. So we are not just talking of a joking crime here. We are talking about one of the worst things that can happen to an individual. Then apart from the individual that it happens to, the psychological effect, we are talking about the family members. Sometimes it is better to know that your family member is dead. Just mourn the person. When your family member is in the hand of a kidnapper, it's an issue of life and death. You have somebody dear to you. Imagine a wife, a husband, in the hands of a lunatic that keeps calling you every day. On the call, any little thing he says, I will kill your person now. Your heart skips. Even you that you are answering that call, BP can kill you. Apart from the person that, you just imagine that I've been in a case whereby kidnappers were calling. And it's a terrible situation when it's easy to hear the stories and just talk about it. But when you put yourself in the shoes of a family member, when your husband, your wife, your child is kidnapped, you know that the people that your family member is with are people that can just wake up from the wrong side of the bed and just kill the person. We have even heard of cases whereby ransom was taken and the victim was still killed. So the first basic we have to first lay is, this is not a joking issue. It's an issue that we must nip, that we must take serious. Decisive decisions must be made, because the worst thing, and you are not just talking about the psychological effect on the victim, you are talking of also the financial effect. Because many times these ransoms that are demanded, for example, just a few weeks ago, a couple that just got wedded, not more than a month they were kidnapped. Who are they? Common civil servants. These guys were asking for millions. To get from where? So most times you see somebody going to borrow money to, now number one, he has been psychologically demoralized. Then number two is borrowing money to pay, to release the wife. Then when the wife comes back, now you borrow 6 million. You didn't use it to buy land. You didn't use it to invest. You just use it. All of a sudden, somebody just tells you that for you to see your wife again, who went out freely, you have to pay 6 million naira to see your wife again. Now, when she comes back, you are not just going through the psychological effect, you are thinking of how to pay back the debt. So the basics is the effect it has. It is eating individuals, it's eating families, it's eating nations. So while we look at this issue, I want us, it must be looked at seriously and passionately to bring a solution.
Salvation, I will come back to you because like you're also passionate about this, talking about the impact. Now you mentioned some factors that gave rise to this. It's like in Africa, it's like they're just waking up on the side of kidnapping. You give an example of countries outside the African continent that do experience this. But right now, it's like Africa is trending. If you take a look at Nigeria, you go to the northern part of Nigeria, the southern part, the eastern part, western part, most especially the northern part, you get to hear kidnapping here and there, get to hear about the ransom being paid. Now, you talked about greed. What does greed have to do with this?
Thank you very much. You see, the factors I've just mentioned, the causes I've just mentioned, and are the major causes of kidnapping. You see, when somebody who is rich already begin to nurture some group of persons that he empowered financially, that he buy ammunition for, just to kidnap a wealthy man for ransom. The money will be taken from that man and he will be returned to him. He said to his boys and they go. It's great. And if you look at it very well, some of these people are already rich. They want to become richer. So in doing this, they feel that doing a legitimate business is out of the business, is out of the picture. All they have to do is to see how they can get quick money. And what is responsible for all these things is the payment of ransom anytime victim is being kidnapped. Anytime victims are kidnapped in Nigeria, not even in Nigeria, everywhere, the payment of ransom has triggered kidnapping activities in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Mali, just name these countries. If there are ways that when a victim is being kidnapped and ransom is being asked for, and there are ways to discourage and the way to fight that these ransoms are not paid, it will discourage those who are perpetrating all this. Now, let me take you this again. You were talking about why is it that I made mention of issue happening in Mexico. Why is it not trading more in Nigeria now? The issue is clear. Today, in politics, there are some desperate politicians because they don't like the man in power. They feel they ought to have been there. Because I am not there, he is there. I will make the state or the country ungovernable. How do I have to do it? It will ensure that I finance some group of people who are into these kidnapping activities. Let them be kidnapping to destabilize this kind of a government. And I can tell you that in Nigeria here, during the time of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, it happened. We witnessed a lot of things. Now, you now discover that some desperate politicians are also responsible for the kidnapping activities today we're having in the country. They will not take into religion. There are some religious groups who feel that as long as I'm not a Christian, I'm a Muslim. And I am a Christian, I am not a Muslim. There is need for us to be the one dominating this area. So in that case, you see them encouraging, motivating people to go into kidnapping. I take you on Boko Haram, what is happening in Boko Haram, the issue of Boko Haram. We find out, we discover, we research into it. What are the problems? What are the issues of these guys? Why are they into kidnapping? Why are they terrorizing this country? We find out they said they are vehemently against Western education. And because they are against Western education, look at the threat of the kidnapping today going on, perpetrated by this group of people. They go to schools. They go to schools to kidnap our children in school. Why? Because they say they want to see people going to school. They hate so much the Western education. So the best way to discourage Western education is to go to where the students learn and kidnap them. So in 2014 April, you see what happened in Chibok. It happened where they kidnapped those children. Till today, majority of these children are still missing. Dapchi too, kidnapping. And today now you see another breaking news here, the one that just happened in Kaduna. The children are being kidnapped today. And the issue is that the government still has a blame in this. I don't see why the government should be negotiating with the terrorists.
We'll come to that. You just hold on. We will definitely come to that. Now, he raised two factors. He talked about greed, he talked about religion, and of course talked about politics. Do you share his views and opinion?
Well, for me, I have an opinion which may not be a popular opinion, but it is my personal opinion. I think the Nigerian government and Nigeria as a nation escalated kidnapping with what we call amnesty for Niger Delta militants. I feel when we did amnesty for Niger Delta militants, what we had was a temporal solution to a permanent problem. You know, when you solve a temporal problem, but you have created a bigger one. Because when we gave militants, people who have carried guns, to kidnap people, to kill people, when we now rewarded them with cash prize, with various offers from governments, of course it calmed down. But right now, the northern persons believe that if you give, now that is the reason why somebody will now come on air and tell us to negotiate with Fulani herdsmen who are kidnapping people.
Well, we don't want to ascribe kidnapping to
okay, fine. But so, yes, headsmen. So yeah. Somebody now comes up and tells a nation that we should negotiate with people who are kidnapping, beheading, all sorts of that we should negotiate with them. Why? Because there's a premise. There was a time we negotiated with some young boys who were doing that.
But the government said right now, no more negotiation.
When you say no more negotiation, but we keep hearing money that is being paid. We keep hearing that money is still being paid. So what happens is this, because there is a reason the American government has a stand that we do not negotiate with terrorists. The minute you pick up arm against the states, we bring you down. There is no, because let me tell you the truth. By the time every criminal, anybody who is kidnapping, understand, listen, for us to really end kidnapping, it's going to take us making hard decisions which may not be so nice right now, but it will solve the problem permanently. Because you see, sometimes when you have an injury, to treat an injury, you experience temporal pain, but for permanent relief. But sometimes when you want to avoid the temporal pain, you create a permanent disability on you. That's the case of kidnapping. For example, we have a situation whereby somebody is being kidnapped, and we are not proactive about the kidnapping issue. People are already kidnapped, then we start planning. We need to now sit down and say, what do we do? Because probably, actually now, practically, globally, majorly in Africa, kidnapping is very lucrative. You just wake up, you enter a school, you pick people, you go and hide somewhere, you get 300 million. That's cool business.
Okay, fine.
So we have made
it's all about business.
Yes, because we have made it lucrative. Okay. If I am a criminal and I see my other friend, I go to a bank to go and rob. In robbing, I risk my life. All I was able to steal was 10 million naira. Or maybe 5 million naira. Most armed robbers that go to people's house, how much can they steal right there? Then somebody else that sees that, my own associate criminal, he just kidnapped somebody, and he got 20 million naira from that. That looks better. So in the scale of crime, one of the most lucrative crime that you get quick money from is kidnapping. Because we are the ones who have made it so to them.
Okay, I will come back to you on that. If you take a look at South African records, it's like kidnapping is very, very high because of the ransom being given. If you go to Sudan, due to the disturbance of that region, apart from the money gotten, also you have what they call children soldiers. Yeah, kids are kidnapped and sold for so many reasons. You go to Niger, people have been kidnapped. Talking about Africa right now as a continent, he raised the term, like what you said, greed and the lucrative nature of kidnapping. Is that the essence of these trends in Africa, Bishop?
Yes. If you look at it, I told you before, so people have seen it as a way to make a living, to earn a living, to make money. Okay. Man, like now, like he said, and I told you in my when I started, I said it is because people are paying this ransom. That is why more people are coming into the business. Victims are being captured. Victims are abducted. At the end of the day, they will call you, bring 100 million, and the 100 million is being given to them. Nobody stop it. Get to their hands. Making cool money, good business. So that one will now encourage other groups to go into the business, because certainly they will say to others that this business is moving, it's lucrative. Just capture somebody, make a call, and the money is there. It's just there. It has become ubiquitous. So that is the reason why many people are going into it. So nobody wants to do any other business again that is subject to the law of accumulation. That today maybe you get 15,000 naira, you save 20. Tomorrow you go out, you get 20, you save 10. Nobody is interested. They just want to hammer. So the only way they feel they can hammer is to go into kidnapping business. Like when I was giving you foundation of the causes of kidnapping, there are two other factors I did not mention at all, which is also responsible. Like I told you, illiteracy. The other one is called unemployment. Why do I say illiteracy? A young man will just grow up like that. No education, no skills. So he has done this, tried that, just to earn a living. Living a low life. Now you will not hear the news that just kidnap somebody, you get money. You get the ransom. Then it becomes a lucrative business. To them, illiteracy is also responsible. When a man undergone a formal training and acquire skills, all he has to do is he will be trying to see how he can monetize that skill or the training he has gotten in education and make money instead of going to that risky business. And I can tell you, in law, that kidnapping you are saying there is one of the worst crimes that you can commit against man. And in Nigeria today, it's one of the biggest problems that is facing us as a nation. Unemployment. A lot of us today, even those who have the job, who have the formal education, who have gone to school, they are out there. A lot of our youth today, they are just moving around, no jobs. No jobs. You will see a young man who has graduated for about almost 10 years. After 10 years in university and polytechnics, moving around, there are no jobs. And because of the desperation, you now see them going into all this illegal business just to earn a living. And I must have them, even parents too, they are also responsible. That is another factor I've not included, parental factor. You see when a young man will travel to their city during Christmas and New Year, the parent will tell you, have you not seen your friend Mr. Anthony? He just came home with Visa. When you see your old Visa, then the man will go back home, angry. So what should I do to write Visa and bring Visa home during Christmas? Just to make my parents happy. So in that case, they will tell you it's do or die affair. Even though I die now, I die next 2 years, all debt now debt. That's what they tell you. So they have to make money by all means. Some of them now go out there to see how they can kidnap victims for ransom. Like the Benin Auchi Road now. Go through there. Before you travel on that road, you have to pray. Say, please God, be with me.
All right.
During Christmas season, we know a lot of activities that went through that place.
Okay. All right. Now you jump on. I'll come back to that. If you take a look at this trend, it's like some group they have taken over this business, so to speak. Some group of persons maybe using the toga of religion, using the toga also of militancy, just under the guise of saying that they are fighting for their own cause, because that's what is trending in Africa. If you go to Sudan, these are militias group kidnapping children. If you go to South Africa, they have their own name, they call their own group. People, individual kidnapping, it's like they're coming together right now to perpetrate this heinous crime. And some are accusing the government of negotiating, like what you guys talked about, and colluding, so to speak, with this person's hands. Stopping it can be a tiny bit too difficult. What do you think about this idea?
Well, when a kidnapping group, now there's a dangerous side to kidnapping that has surfaced. It is terrorism groups are going into kidnapping to fund their campaign. It is becoming clear when they run short of fund, they kidnap. Like you see now, the Boko Haram, the terrorist group who are kidnapping schoolgirls. Apart from trying to destroy education, you see them trying to refund themselves. So the problem is when you are the one, the problem with paying those ransom is that you are funding your enemy. So yesterday, when he was fighting you, he lacked money. He didn't have enough money to buy weapons, and yet you were not able to defeat him. Today, you yourself, you have given him 300 million. To do what with the money? To become stronger, to recruit more persons, to buy more arms, to continue in what he's doing. So the problem with stopping it is that every time you pay them ransom, you empower them. And there's a general underlying factor that you must know. Why is kidnapping in Africa rising by the day? If you find that every nation where kidnapping is rising, there is failure of governments. Whenever there is political instability, wherever there is crisis in a nation, which leads to lawlessness, people take advantage of that. And one of the results of such is always kidnapping. You go to the Somalia, you go to the Congo, go to nations where you see kidnapping on the rise. That's where you begin to see human slavery. You begin to see people, because of just using the NSAS as an example. The few days where there was lawlessness, where the security agents were not, you see different criminal groups rising to take advantage of the situation. Kidnapping is one of such. When there is lawlessness in a place, when government is not well organized, when security agents are becoming political, when corruption is involved and security agents are not doing their job, kidnapping rises very high. So when you want to talk about the stopping kidnapping, you start from government. One, the willingness of government, the willpower. For example, a government, if it is ever found out that there are a group of people who are pampered because probably they are from the same political zone with the ruling class of any nation, what you do is that you encourage that. So to stop this, we need a government in Africa who are not tribalized. We need a government who takes the bull by the horn. For example, you cannot have in Nigeria right now, look at the example. You have IPOB there, who we cannot really speak of many proofs of killings and kidnapping or what of that. Really, of course, they are crying out, but they have not. We have not seen real proofs, and they have been proscribed as a terrorist organization. And then there are other groups in the same nation who we are seeing them kidnapping every day, and what we are hearing about is how they want to give them amnesty. You see, you rule a place like that, people are encouraged. People from a political region now feel like, okay, we have the right. There are people in nations, like in Nigeria, for example, who, if you arrest them, they don't stay in prison for 2 weeks. Because the minute you arrest him, whether he kidnapped anybody, no matter what he did, his brother is a general. He will just make some call, and even the policeman is weakened. Because even the policeman that wants to handle the case, somebody far higher than him from one place just calls him and gives him an order that releases that person. So if we want to talk about government, we are talking about sincerity in governance.
Okay.
Coming to looking at it and bringing a real solution. If my brother kidnaps somebody and I am the governor, I should be able to use him as an example.
All right.
To bring deterrent to others.
We'll continue with the discussion after this break. It's all about kidnapping trends in Africa, the impact on the continent. And I have two gentlemen here with me in the studio. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. Talking about collusion of security agents. What is aiding the trends in Africa? Don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is Africa Discourse. We're going to look at the kidnapping trends in Africa. That is what we are talking about today. And according to reporters, like Nigeria is beginning to make a headway negatively when we talk about the ranking of the cases of kidnapping. It used to be South Africa, it used to be Sudan, it used to be Mali, it used to be Niger Republic, it also used to be Senegal, you just name it, Cameroon, but right now it's like Nigeria is trending, and it's like maybe, just maybe, they want to break the record of other countries that are involved in kidnapping when we talk about Africa as a continent. Bishop, he mentioned someone backing orders for the release of a particular person that was caught, even when he or she is involved in kidnapping. And of course, a top elder statement talked about collusion, so to speak, where security agents, they have this forum where they meet with kidnappers and they have this rapport. And one was caught 2 weeks ago, though he's been dealt with right now in the military. Is this another factor that is encouraging kidnapping in Africa? Talking about lapses in security.
Well, it is not common, but we cannot just summarize that it is a fact. Why I have to go into that dimension is that I know we always have backaches. We still have some agents, security agents, who are doing their job very well, who are diligent, who are not corrupt, who do their job very well, who just feel that in fact, my life don't depend on my job. I just need to deliver. I need to save my country. We have agents like that who do that kind of work. Just that in the midst of 100, you must have one that is corrupt. That's not to say that the security agencies are not doing their job. The only thing I would suggest that I would say is that it is not only the duty and the responsibility of the security agents to fight what is trend today in Nigeria called kidnapping. Everybody have to come to the table. Let's see how we can find solution to this. The desperate politicians have to come to the right table. Religious leaders have to come to the right table. Parents have to come to the right table. You see, every stakeholder in this country have a role to play in this. You know what I told you? If you look at the foundation I gave you, when I gave you the causes of this kidnapping, where we find ourselves today, you discover that the major thing that is there is material thing, money. I want to get rich. I want to have money. Apart from the politically motivated ones, apart from the religious one that we have seen, the major one today that is facing us are those ones that emanated from illiteracy, from unemployment, and from politics. You see, when we discuss kidnapping, we look at the effect of the individual, the victims that is kidnapped. We not just end there. Where I also look at it, it is the economic costs of what we are discussing now called kidnapping. To the government, to our revenue, is a leakage. The money that ought to have been used for infrastructural development is being taken to fight this threat. To us, it's a leakage. It's not helping us. Nobody should smile about it, because money that is meant for education, money that is meant for the decay of infrastructure we have today, the decay in medical infrastructure that ought to have been replaced by the government, the money is being diverted to fight kidnapping. Then we look at it again on the other side, that investors will always be discouraged to come here to invest. After the Christmas and New Year, there was a man that visited his people at Fuga, okay, Mr. Abuda. After celebrating with his people, on his way back to US, he was kidnapped. He was kidnapped. Not just kidnapped, he was kidnapped, and money was taken from him, and he was killed, and he has not been buried. Now you tell me now, such colossus, who has first too, who has money, who are well to do, living in the United States of America, who have the mind of coming to Nigeria to establish, number one, they'll be scared to come here to develop Africa, to develop Nigeria. And what they refuse to come, what is the multiplier effect? The unemployment, like I normally say, that if we want to solve the issue of unemployment today in Nigeria, it is not just only the duty and role of the government. Everybody to do Nigeria, everybody that has what it takes economically, that has economic power, have what it takes to solve the issue of unemployment. And if those who have the economic power that should do this, in attempt to come to this country, who have made it outside the country, let me come in here, the money I have made outside the country, let me bring it here and invest in my country. You come here, you are not safe at all. You don't even have the mindset that if I come to Nigeria, if I'm returning back home, I will get where I'm going. It's an issue. It's an issue. So when we continue like this, we will not grow. The government has to do their job. Regional leaders have to do their job. Parents have to do their job. All this parental pressure on young men when they come home during Christmas. You see Mr. John, he came home with Vesa. Where is your own? A parent will be telling the child, where is your own? You see Andrew is building his house, where is your own? The child will now look at this. Can't you do what they are doing? Okay. Your parent will say, no, can't you do what they are doing? Then when he return back to the city, he will now be asking, what are they doing that I'm not doing? I am working, they are paying me, I'm saving, I'm operating on the principle of accumulation, but I've not been able to buy a car. What are they doing that I am not doing? Begin to ask questions. Have you not heard about kidnapping? Wow. I think I can tell you. If that is trying to give me quick money to get visa, so my parents will just be happy with me, let me go into it.
All right. I'll come back to you, brother. You're talking about the social aspect of all this. Now he has painted a picture linking everyone in this circle. But if we take a look at the trend, youths are targeted. Teenagers are targeted in schools, most especially. It's not only in Nigeria. Yeah, it's like, a copied trend. That is the report we're getting right now. Because they'll just go to school in Sudan, bam, go into that place, go to Afghanistan, also go to their schools and kidnap. It's like these kidnappers are copying from these particular persons within and outside Africa. Why the youths? Why the teenagers? Why the educational institution?
Well, I want to say that the ideas and the ideology of Boko Haram to destroy Western education in Nigeria got a major boost when they got the idea that they should start kidnapping school children in the north. As in, they will achieve that ideology faster with that. The reason is this. We must know that, like, for example, northern Nigeria, we are only gradually encouraging them to go to school. This sensitization for education for the young people there is just gradually coming. It's in northern Nigeria that you hear a WAEC officer tell you that he goes there to invigilate people for WAEC. Nobody will come, he will sleep. When you come to the south, there's no space for people to sit. So now there is the gradual awakening coming in the north. And right now, the mother who just got encouraged that the child should start going to school now hears that the neighbor's child was kidnapped in school. How do you convince that woman again to send her child to school? So the kidnapping of school children takes our civilization 50 years backward in the northern Nigeria. We have not yet gotten the effect of what is happening. Apart from economic effects, I'm telling you that the development of northern Nigeria has been reduced by 30 years. We may not see it immediately now, but it's going to play out. Because, for example, I heard about one time where a governor had to close down all schools temporarily because of kidnappers. So you will notice that when you close down those schools, maybe there were 1,000 students that went home. When you call the schools to come back, maybe 600 will come back. The remaining 400, their parents are scared. Of course, they are genuinely scared. If my child goes to school today, he may not come back, he may be kidnapped. So he starts keeping the child at home. Before 6 months, he gets a new idea. The child starts doing child labor. You tell him now he begins to see the interest. My child is bringing 100 naira home daily. This is more interesting than going to school. So the effect of kidnapping school children is deeper than we know globally and more in Nigeria. If it continues, the educational structure will collapse. And when it collapses, the crime will increase. So, you see, there's something that we need to know in Nigeria. We are romancing evil. We are handling evil with kid gloves. We are talking calmly about kidnapping. The effect is so hard. So the people who are kidnapping school children, they are deliberate. They know what they want. Kidnapping school children achieves a lot of aim for terrorist group. Number one, it gives them strong publicity. Like Boko Haram, what the media, even media, we don't know that we are overhyping school children kidnapped. Because let me tell you how the terrorist world works. In the world of terrorism, when a group seems to make the headline enough, it is seen as exploits. That this group is making exploits. And what you don't know is that when a group is constantly reported, followers come. Because they feel that, the religious extremists see that these people are doing Allah's bidding. They are touching the nation. They get followership from them. Followership increase.
But not all of them in that religion I support of kidnapping.
I mean extremists. I talked about extremists.
Okay, all right,
so extremists all over the world. Why is ISIS camp growing every day? Because extremists all over the world who hear of what ISIS is doing want to go and join. It's just like the way you are now. When you hear that a church is growing, more people join the church. It's same with terrorism. So when they kidnap a school child, the effect number one, they get more followers. Number two, they get more money to fund their campaign. Because to get those children back, number three, they destroy the educational system, which is their original aim. So if there is anything that we are going to do right now, the number one thing is to stop the kidnap of school children. We must not destroy whatever the government. And I feel like the easiest crime to nip in the bud is kidnapping. I'll tell you why. How do you kidnap 300 people? If in this place now, if you want to put 300 people in a truck, you may need close to 5 trucks to put 300 people. How do you move 300 trucks for days and there's no information? You are telling me that 300 trucks are moved. How does it happen? Right. It means that for you to kidnap, number one, you are making calls. That means that if our security agents, if they are very strong with our network, social network, because the kidnappers made calls. Number two, you receive ransom. How did you receive the ransom? Those money, is there no way to trace it? No, so there are ways. Number three, a victim was there and the victim was released. How, if you go to civilized nations, when a victim is released from kidnapping, it gives intelligence to the police force that which will help them to stop it. They are well questioned. I don't mean terrorizing them. I don't mean you sit them down. There are questions. When you were there, what did you hear? What was the language they were speaking? Describe the terrain for us. A smart, intelligent agent knows that, of course, most kidnappers, they blindfold their victim. But that's where we need training. We need to train our people for this. Because a good security agent, when he's asking you to describe for me, even though your face was covered, it tells you what did you hear.
Okay.
What sound?
Thank you, sir, because salvation, because right now in the footage we just saw, their faces were not covered, but they were malhandled. The recent footage that we saw is like on the social media, like what you rightly said, tracing this cause, following things up. Well, let's talk about how to really curb this, Bishop. This is where you come in, because our time is almost up, because right now Africa is trending and Nigeria seems to be in front of it all.
Yes, you see, more at the kidnapping agent had to be established and financed by the government. We should have a kind of a collaboratory group too. If you look at what is happening on the Benin Auchi Road now, it has reduced drastically. It was not the way it is now. It was not like that during the December season. Before you travel that road, you have to pray. Now you now have a lot of hunters, all those vigilante. They're on the road. When you are driving, you see them by the roadside. You know, you see their presence alone. They are now collaborating with the police and the soldiers on the highway to see how they can curb what is happening. Then two, the security agents need intelligent information. You need to help them with information, and I think that's why I told you before. I said if we must do this, we don't have to leave the fight against kidnapping for the security agents alone. Okay, everybody have to get involved. Every community have to establish what I call vigilante group. It started in Okbila too. When he entered Okbila, when you were going to Abuja, when you get to Okbila, after Okbila, you are going to Okene, you have problem. But you see, when the Okbila people have to establish their own vigilante, you see them on the highway. Even you see them even marching where the security, the police can even find themselves. They are there. Today now on our Benin Auchi Road, you can travel on that road. without fear, because the hunters are the vigilante. They are on the highway, working hand in hand with the police. And that is what I think everybody have to get involved and do. Then in the case of the Boko Haram, you see, there is something that baffles me. In that area, the government has failed woefully. They are not doing anything at all. It has become a recurring decimal. You see, why an issue? Why can't they trace this thing? I remember some time ago, some people names were mentioned. People who brought Boko Haram to Nigeria, their names were mentioned. And today, these guys are not apprehended, questioned, find out their role, what they have done to establish Boko Haram in Nigeria. Now they don't want Western education. They just walk into a school and kidnap children and go away. So I believe in those communities, let the hunters and the vigilante, let them establish Vigilante group to work with this. See, if you drive here now, from here to Lagos, before you drive here to Okada, you must see a lot of checkpoints. So if you come to Benin and kidnap students and put them in a van and you are taking them to Ore, you not say how many checkpoints you are going to see before you get to Ore. Why is it that these people are not being apprehended on their way from the school to wherever they are taking those guys to? So if the police or the security agent have faith, then the vigilante, the local hunters and everybody, they have to work hard to make sure they protect our education, they protect our children.
All right, thank you so much, Bishop Akalame. Well, Salvation, you have just 1 minute to summarize your point. Preventive measures.
Well, I think one of the ways we need to sensitize people. NGOs can also come in. For example, kidnapping in the north. There are still people that are brainwashed that these people are fighting for God. We need to go back and educate these people, reorient them that you don't fight for God by killing people. These people are not true Islamists. This is not your religion. Islamism is not about killing people. So this is all about, we need to sensitize so that, because when the people are sensitized, they can give the right information to security agents. There are people that have soft spot for these things. Okay, they are fighting for God. So we need to sensitize. And then number 2, we need tactical training for our anti-kidnapping school. We need to train our people. 50% of fighting kidnapping is intelligence. 50%. So we need to go into more of intelligence gathering, monitoring phone call. How did it go? We need to fortify those areas.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate the wonderful analysis. Well, do not be surprised, because Nigeria is not the only country that is undergoing this trauma. Yes, we're focusing on Africa, or in Africa rather. You get to hear also the Niger experience. Yeah, the Somalia experience, the Ethiopia experience, Sudan, Cameroon, you just name it, Ivory Coast, South Africa. It's just trending. And Nigeria is beginning to make the news. This is a negative news. All hands must be on deck to really stop this trend. Gentlemen, once more, I appreciate a wonderful analysis. See you tomorrow, God willing, on International Forum. Bye for now.